Okay, hello and welcome to the weather update on this hot Sunday evening. Though it's not really that terrible here, at least we're getting a breeze here on the island, and we're going to look at some of the current conditions. Unfortunately, the city is not getting a breeze. So let's go to our map here and take a look at our current conditions. As you know, heat advisory in effect for most of Long Island, except for the southeastern part of Suffolk until 8 p.m. on Monday, and an excessive heat warning for much of New Jersey, except for the northern part. So, as you can see, temperatures have dropped across the island into the low 80s now, and even some upper 70s on the South Shore, though it remains humid with dew points in the mid 70s. Most areas on the island have now dropped into the upper 70s to around 80 degrees with that southwesterly wind, and that helped bring a lot of relief for us here in the later part of the day, which really helped a great deal with the way it felt outside. But for those folks suffering in New Jersey here, where we're waiting for observations to come up, let's see, you got mid 80s in Toms River, so it is a little hotter there, of course, but still they're getting some help too. Low 80s right along the coast, and at the Barrier Islands you got the upper 70s. So not quite as bad as further north in New Jersey, where in that Edison Route 1 corridor down to Philadelphia you're still around 90 degrees, which is pretty hot. So we'll look at some of the conditions here. Across the area, 82 degrees. At Farmingdale, dew point 73, feels like 87 with the heat index, but with the breeze, and there was a pretty decent breeze, I was actually able to walk for a mile in Hicksville. At least that's where I wound up going. And even though there was a decent breeze in Hicksville, look at Gabreski Airport, 75 with a dew point of 72. Southwest at 14, gusting 18, so there's a really nice breeze probably out on the South Shore and on the East End. We'll look at Islip too. 79, southwest wind at 14, gusting at 23. The dew point is 74, but again, that breeze helps a lot, let me tell you. It's one thing they don't really factor in is the wind. When there's a breeze, it helps a great deal. 87 degrees in Central Park, still hot in the city, 71. What else is new there? And yes, we have some stuff on the radar we have to look at too. Let's take a look at Miller Air Park, still 85 degrees there. I'm just curious at what it hit there. 98 it says there. So we'll now look at our high temperatures for the day. I don't want to make you wait for the radar, so let's get the radar. Because we do have some thunderstorms around. They probably will fall apart by the time they get to our way, but you could see into eastern Pennsylvania there are some thunderstorms, and some of them have severe warnings in effect. So let's go take a look back to our map here, and let's take a look at the high temperatures for the day. Let's see what the maximum temperatures were for today. So it looks like we have across much of Long Island, it looks like it got into the mid 90s, except the South Shore where it was in the mid 80s. Let's see, where's Farmingdale on here? And Islip. Okay, this is Farmingdale. So it looks like Farmingdale Airport hit 91. Let's see, where is Islip? Right here. So it hit 88 at Islip. So it didn't hit 90 at Islip Airport. It's a little more toward the South Shore, so they get a little more of a sea breeze, but you can see the North Shore into the mid-90s there. Plenty hot, and the city obviously probably got into the 90s. Let's wait for this to load here again. We got 90s in the city. Looks like 97 at LaGuardia Airport, 93 at Central Park for the high. 90s across New Jersey, mid-90s. Sayreville, you got upper 90s, a 99 in Sayreville. That's really hot. 98 in Matawan, so much of New Jersey just baked, including 99 at the Miller Air Park in Toms River. Though downtown Toms River it was a little cooler by the water, 94. And if you were right on the beach, still got up to 92. And Jersey's just a hot place, unless you're right along the coast there. The breeze just doesn't really penetrate very far in. Now, it's interesting to note that the temperatures are, we'll go back to the current here, and we'll put this back to station plot. It's interesting to note, let's see what the observation at Mineola has. Carl Place is 84. I think it's cooler than that. Felt cooler than that anyway. Probably 81 with a dew point of 73. However, if we look at the temperature in the alleyway, you'll see the temperature in the alleyway is still around 90 degrees. No surprise. Just traps all the heat. And they got laundry exhaust going in there, so I did see this beautiful butterfly though today. We're walking around in Hicksville. It's a beautiful tiger swallowtail butterfly. Anyway, let's take a look and see what's going to be heading our way. We're first going to start off with the SPC Storm Prediction Center. Now, we don't have a risk for today, but I have a feeling tomorrow we may. So let's go take a look at tomorrow's risk. Tomorrow we have a marginal risk of severe weather, and this is with a weak front passing through the area tomorrow. I'll emphasize it's a weak front, but because the air mass is so hot and humid, it is going to cause, it could cause some thunderstorm activity. So let's take a look at the models here. Not going to get into too much. You know what's pretty much going to happen, but I'll just refresh you with the upper air and see if anything's changed since yesterday. So there's the ridge, and yeah, it does not look there. Yeah, there it is. So it's delaying it a little bit, but you can see troughing in the trying to get into the east, but the GFS has kind of relented. This is why I don't want to get too hung up on the long range, because you see the way the GFS flip-flops back and forth here with the weather. So let's go take a look at our area and see what's going to be happening on the GFS in regards to the temperatures. So you'll see the difference with that front tomorrow. Still going to be really hot tomorrow, just as hot as today. Maybe not, maybe even a couple degrees hotter, because I think there'll be more of a west wind tomorrow, which is going to mean everybody's going to get well into the 90s with the humidity too. It's going to feel like it's well over 100. And then you could see that front come through and knock it down a little bit for Tuesday with highs around 90, but probably still hot in New Jersey with the mid-90s. And then it drops down a little further on Wednesday. We're in the mid-80s on the island, close, still 90 in New Jersey, but still above normal, you know, right through next weekend. Not really a whole lot of relief, but it won't be quite as bad as far as the heat goes. But the humidity, on the other hand, may be a little hard to get rid of. So you'll see that front come through. Here it comes through tomorrow. So you see that westerly flow, southwest flow ahead of the front. That's going to get dew points well into the 70s. And then we have the dry air. You see this front kind of just washes out. So we're going to try to get into the dry air, but the front kind of just gets hung up. And then the humidity comes right back at us in full force. And we blaze again on Thursday. And then another front tries to make it through on the weekend. It looked like this front was going to get through, but now this model is saying it might get hung up and wash out again. So just we might have to wait a little longer until like maybe Tuesday to get some relief. But it's a crappy pattern all in all. Let's go look at the NAM 12 kilometer, and we're going to look at the NAM as far as the dew points go as well, because I feel the GFS just underestimates them. So here you go. Here is a Monday, and you can see that westerly flow right there. I think dew points get into the mid-70s. It's going to feel like it's 110 out there. In New Jersey, you're going to feel even hotter than that. And because there's not going to be that much of a sea breeze, except right on the south shore. And then Tuesday, you see the dew points come down, but it's not a great. You have to go further north to really get relief. And then, boom, the humidity comes right back at us on Wednesday into Thursday, unfortunately. If we look at the temperatures here on this, again, this is the 12 kilometer NAM. If you look at the temperatures, you will see here the heat really just gonna that west wind is just gonna push that heat from New Jersey right over in our area. So it's just gonna push it right over into our area. So that's what's gonna happen, and it's gonna be brutal. See that west wind is just gonna push the heat from New Jersey. So tomorrow is going to be the worst day for the heat, I think. And it's just going to feel the hottest. It's just going to be absolutely brutal. And I'm not looking forward to it. The other thing is the thunderstorm threat. So let's go ahead and look at that. And for that, I will shift over to the higher resolution NAM. But when I looked at it yesterday, I really was not impressed with what I saw. You could see it just it doesn't really develop much of anything. It's not good because we are still in below normal precipitation pattern. We could use some rain, and we're not getting much out of the NAM at all. Let's see if the HRRR develops anything, and for that I'll have to go to the 18Z run because I get more hours out of it. Let's see. Very disappointing, and that's because of the way this front is. It's going to kind of just wash out, but I still think there's the possibility that we could see some isolated strong to severe thunderstorms tomorrow, but very isolated. That is the key. We can look at the Cape for the Ventus sky as well for tomorrow. Let's see what we got on the Cape here. Go to tomorrow here. Tomorrow, 11 p.m. It does have high Cape, so again, whatever forms could be strong. But there's just not a lot of. The models might be underestimating this. We're going to have to see exactly what happens here. I just don't trust with the front and such a juiced up air mass. I just think that we're going to see more thunderstorms than what these models are generating. So we'll see what happens if we see any severe weather tomorrow. Anyway, the last part of this weather update is going to be the ice situation in the Arctic. It's not good, and very low. By July 15th, Arctic sea ice was at a record low over the period of satellite observations for this time of the year. The Siberian heat wave this past spring initiated early ice retreat along the Russian coast, leading to very low sea ice extent in the Laptev and Barents Sea. And this is from the nsidc.org, Arctic Sea Ice News. So here's a map of what it looks like, and it's not good. We're going to get close to the Blue Ocean event this year, I think. It's going to happen. We may even, 2020 is such a messed up year. If it's going to happen, it's probably going to wind up happening this year. Because when it rains, it pours, and 2020 is a good example of that. This has been an absolutely awful year. So anyway, that is going to wrap up this weather update. One more really brutally hot day, but unfortunately, we're going to have to wait a little longer for the relief. Take care, everybody, and thank you for watching.